Paul Hellyer, and you're listening to Unified Field Radio.
Welcome back to the program, folks. This is the Unified Field, and I'm your host, Mr. Justin Brown, on Atlantic Canada's only paranormal radio broadcast. We talk about expanding consciousness. We talk about new technology, future science, new freedom radio, as I like to say. The paranormal, exopolitics is my forte. I dig that the best. What a jam-packed episode we have for you today. This is the Stan Romanek interview show. It's unbelievable. You guys aren't going to believe it. It's so cool to talk to this guy. A lot of people are on the fence about who he is and what he's offering to ufology in the world, whether or not he's a charlatan. But we've got him right here on this program, UFR, the world's most popular and widely discussed contemporary abductee experiencer, Stan Romanek. He's got videos of apparently extraterrestrials on YouTube, one peeking into his window, one popping out from behind a door. We talk about all that. I call him out. I ask him about some videos and some reactions of other ufologists and people in the game. So it's a huge, huge interview, huge story. He's been on Larry King. He's been on ABC, NBC. There's a documentary being made about him right now. He lives in the United States there in the Midwest, and he's got a new book out called Messages. He's going to be on the program. Wow. What a show we've got for you today. We've got tons of news coming at you. I want to tell you guys that Paul Hellyer is going to be on 2 weeks from now. Big time news. The former Minister of National Defense. He's been dealing in politics, for decades. Economics was a huge forte. He wrote a ton of books on it. A real gentleman, a real scholar into his 80s. In 2005, he made the statement that UFOs are real and extraterrestrials are making contact on planet Earth. We're modeling our technology over theirs, on their ideas and their concepts. And some of this technology is being integrated into society. And the implications of that could be really positive and change the shape of the world. But why isn't that happening? So we talk about these things and a whole lot more in his statements and his new book, Light at the End of the Tunnel, and all the amazing eyewitness accounts that he's collected, and talks about some of his own, and has his own... The Unified Field has an exclusive Paul Hellyer premier UFO sighting that he's shared only with us so far in the world. I'm sure maybe in 2 weeks' time it might be a different story once the rest of the media get to him, but UFR has the exclusive. We were the first person he told. So this show is Stan Romanek, the world's most popular, the most famous contemporary abductee on the program. We got a ton of news to talk about, I have to tell you this. When I interviewed Paul Hellyer, I talked about Stan Fulhelm because he's in his book, Light at the End of the Tunnel, and Fulhelm made some remarks that on October 13th, there would be mass UFO sightings all over the world on October 13th. Now, Stan Romanek said the same thing. He said he had a channel that told him that a big thing was going to happen in October. And folks, Stan Romanek and Paul Hellyer, actually not Paul Hellyer, I told Paul Hellyer about Fulhelm. He wasn't aware of this when I brought it up, that Fulhelm made these remarks. They called this, okay? Stan Fulhelm and Stan Romanek called this, because when October 13th came, I didn't know anything about it. I didn't hear anything about it. I thought it had come and gone, and that was the end of the story, but I was just looking on the internet, and it says there are claims from ufologists that this event did take place. There were just mass mass decloakings all over the world. We're going to talk about that. So far, I've only seen about a dozen YouTube clips of this taking place in New York, and I didn't see any decloakings, but there were mass sightings, everybody. If this is true and this guy called the shots, where's he getting his info? All right. But funny enough, Paul Hellyer sent me an email back just a couple days ago that said, Justin, it was interesting you mentioned this thing about Fulham, because check this out in the news. We've got these quote-unquote decloakings taking place all over the world, and the UN's Outer Space Office's director, Dr. Mazian Othman, who, when the big National Press Club conference was going on, the story was leaked that she was going to be the new ambassador from Earth if extraterrestrials made contact in a new division of the UN. Now, that was totally false, of course, and it took a lot of legitimate press away from the National Press Club. But there is an outer space office, a UN outer space office. And she speaks her mind about the extraterrestrial scenario and UFO. So that was in the news. Paul sent me that article. I thought that was fascinating. And I got Alfred Weber's article here on the same thing about these decloakings taking place all over the place. Check it out. Do a October 13th mass UFO decloaking search in Google. You'll check out what I'm talking about. Alfred Weber's on there. He's got some articles going on. We'll talk more about that. I'll give you the source for all that. Plus, we got some new books coming out. Actually, they're out already. Nick Redfern's Final Events, talking about the Cullens elite and UFOs being demons and not aliens, and some big, huge final religious event for the end of the world, very apocalyptic, a huge spin on things, which really makes me scratch my head. Also, Hellier's got his new book, of course, Light at the End of the Tunnel. You got to check that out. Sean Leonard's boat cruise is coming up. We're going to talk about that because it's been going on for over a week now in Alderney Landing here in Dartmouth. His haunted boat tour. Get a hold of him at sean-leonard.com or New Dawn Charters. Get on that cruise. It's fantastic. I went on it myself. It was a lot of fun, and it's good, too. It gives you a bit of history about Halifax. All kinds of stuff going on. Graham Hancock's got a new book. There's been a giant butterfly sighting over L.A., according to Phantoms and Monsters. Alien colony possibly discovered in our galactic neighborhood. We've got stories of underground reptilian encounters in Missouri. Sci-Tech news. We got Mars mission taking place in 39 days, a flight from Earth to Mars instead of the ancient 6 months because of a new plasma engine invented. We've got a story about an MRI device invented and created, I think, in the basement of a young man. Like, this is above normal intelligence level here. This guy just won a huge prize for his invention. You can walk into this thing and it'll take an x-ray of your lungs so you can see the airflow going through all your lungs and alveoli. Incredible. Also, we're going to talk about how the electric revolution continues. I'm talking about vehicles. We got a massive show, everybody. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome. It's Saturday night. This is the Unified Field. This is the only broadcast of its kind in Atlantic Canada. We broadcast here on CKDU 88.1 FM. Not only here, you can live stream it there at the .ca. It's on YouTube, it's on MySpace, it's on Blogspot. It's going to be on Twitter here coming at you, so subscribe. You know, stay in the loop. I have to admit, I've had internet issues for quite a while now, and I haven't been updating the shows. But my connections and problems and issues have been solved. So I'm going to get all those back issues up. You guys have probably, wondered what the heck has been going on with me, why I disappeared, why you're not getting your content. Well, now you can. It's going to be coming up here in the next couple weeks. This is such a big show, and also, I have to say, I just got called the other day. I'm pretty proud of myself. It's pretty low-key, but I think it's fun. We all deserve to pat ourselves on the back from time to time. Excuse me. I'm feeling a little under the weather lately. I got a bit of a cold. But what happened was a journalism student called me and interviewed me for the show. He saw the ad in the Coast, and it said, experiencers and abductees wanted to share their stories with the Unified Field. So he called me, and I told him about Paul Hellyer, and we did a little interview and what my show is all about and what our show is all about, everybody, right? Because you're here too. And apparently he's got some connections with a local radio show. Maybe the interview will be on the radio, on the FM dial here soon. We'll see what happens. Anyway, it's been a pretty big week. A lot of stuff happening. I'm glad you tuned in. It's Saturday night. I want to give a shout out there to Bruce, Aaron, as I normally do. Marishka, if you're listening, not sure. It's been a while. Where are you? Are you watching, what are you watching? America's Next Top Model? Or Dexter, like everybody else? I don't really do that. Do I sound biased? Well, I'm not, because we just got cable hooked up the other day, which is cool because it's not something we do, but it was cheaper, actually, to switch over our phone lines, and we got free cable. So, man, I got to tell you, I turned on the cable, and when I put the guide on, I got to like channel 770 and had to turn it off. I couldn't even finish the guide. There's so many bloody channels. It's a vortex. That thing is a vortex, man. All you people who watch cable TV, what the hell is the matter with you guys? Do something constructive, honestly. It's a black hole. It's a black hole. TV cable is a black hole. I said it 3 times. Anyway, it's very frightening. But anyway, yeah, we're all guilty of it, eh? Guilty pleasures. Some people, what do? They eat ice cream. Some people smoke. Some people watch cable TV. Some people talk about flying saucers, right? Anyway, geez, we got to get to the program. It's a huge, huge interview. Stan Romanek, the world's most popular contemporary UFO abductee and experiencer. A whole bunch of other stories, a plethora of stuff coming at you. We got to get to it, or we're just not going to have the time. But before we start, we're going to take a little break. But before I do that, I'm going to play a track here by a band that I used to be in back in the day. And for all you guys out in Radioland, if you don't know, I used to play punk rock for years and years and years. Some bands completely worse than the others. But this was a fun one. And they just put out a new record, and I ran into one of the guys from the band yesterday in the street with his family, and it was awesome. I haven't seen him in years, and it was really nice, and his son was there, and his sister, and everybody was there, and it was a nice reunion. He met my son, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, they put out this new record. The band's called When All's Been Said. That's the old band. The newer band is called, Better Off Dead. You remember John Cusack's movie? Anyway, I used to be in this band too, and it was a lot of fun. But guys, look, there's 2 of my songs on this record, and all I got was this crappy free copy of the record. Oh, man. Did I get scammed here or what? No, I'm just kidding. I know you guys are making millions of dollars in punk rock, so, if you do make money, just don't forget about me, guys. For God's sakes, okay? Holy crap. Anyway, I'm going to play, you know what? I'm going to play 2 of your songs. 2 of you guys' songs. Not the songs I wrote, because we don't want to continue down that path. We're going to play More Than Seen, and maybe back from the commercials, we'll jump right into bombs and scare the crap out of people to jump into the Stan Romanek interview. Dan, keep living the dream, man. Don't ever stop. Because that's the point. You remember all those conversations we had over the years, just you and me chilling in your car, driving around? Don't ever stop. Here we go. This is Better Off Dead with More Than Seen, right here on UFR. I'm going to throw a disclaimer out there. It's going to be loud, folks. Get ready. If you don't like it, turn down your radio, disappear. But I don't care. It's going to be great. Good Canadian content coming at you from the underground. Better Off Dead, More Than Seen on UFR. Stick around.